So, yeah, I mean, I can talk about like how I break down a page and write that, but first I just want to see if anybody has any general questions about, actually any questions, yes.
Okay, I guess my first question would be, I mean, where do you typically get like that first germ of an idea for a story? I mean, is that just something that happens like in an everyday situation? Is that a movie, radio show? I mean, what kind of turns the wheels, so to speak, to start the story?
That's kind of a question that nobody I know has ever been able to answer. Sort of like, I mean, you can look at TV shows. I mean, it's like one of those questions we're always asked, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. Some things just like come to you, and you can't explain how or why. DMZ is one of those. I get asked that a lot, and I can definitely say what influences that, but I cannot possibly say like when or how that idea first came into my head. There have been times that definitely like a song lyric will inspire me in some way. Or if I see a TV show or a movie I like, I'd be like, oh, I kind of like what they did there. It'd be cool if I could like somehow figure out like that plot twist, if I could somehow steal it and apply it and make it my own in some way. But as far as like that first like lightning strike of that idea, I don't think anybody really knows where that comes from. I think if they did, they'd be a billionaire. it's kind of like a magical thing, and I feel like if anybody here writes or draws or something, I feel like you just know when the idea you have is like a great one. You're just like, you feel it and you're like, yeah, this is great. And you have to do it, you have to go out and make it. I wish I knew how to make that happen on command. How do I put it? Yep.
I was wondering, you mentioned panel layout. I'm trying to put together a comic strip right now, and
I'm sorry, I mentioned what?
Panel layout?
Oh, panel layout. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to put together a comic book strip right now. I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how to get the most information on the page. And I was wondering what you suggest about communicating.
Is it like a regular comic book page?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, there are like rules of thumb. I don't know who it was. Some like very smart guy. I don't know if it was Will Eisner or some like sort of like classic comic book guy, worked out a formula, which I know a lot of writers follow. And I think it's 28 words a panel. It seems super arbitrary to me, and I've broken it 100 times. I don't think you have to live by that rule. I generally don't have more than 7 panels on a page. I think that's pushing it. Like you look at a book like Watchmen, which is built on a 9-panel grid. I tried to write Northlanders. It was on a 9-panel grid, and it killed me. And that was even before the artist had to draw it. That's an extremely difficult thing, and I wouldn't advise someone who's not like an innate master like Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons to attempt. So yeah, I would say 7 at the most. I'd say you want to average around 5 or 6. That 28 words a panel, I wish I could ask whoever that was that came up with that, what that's based on. I feel like that might be some holdover from the comic or newspaper strips.
Readability,
or something.
smallness of it, that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that belongs to like an older technology time when printing wasn't, I don't know what it was. But I usually try to, like the back and forth when 2 people talk at a panel, I usually only try to do that once. So like if one person says something and somebody answers, there can be a reply to that answer, but that's where I cut it off. Like I sometimes see like a lot of balloons on the page. I just think that's like a real waste of comics. I don't think that's what comics is really. I feel like you're like reading. I feel like you're reading prose that's printed on top of a piece of art, as opposed to like a narrative comic. So that's kind of like my personal rules of thumb. I sort of like have a feeling when I'm writing too many words in a panel, and usually it's confirmed when I get the lettering proof back, because I always like get the proof all that, and you can see where the balloon is like covering up too much of the art. So I mean, I would say you could try to use that 28 word guide or 28 word limit as a guide and see. Obviously, I'm sure you could stretch it out a bit.
Thanks.
So I do, and also like page size too. Like if you're doing a digest size, like I did that Minx book, which was a digest book, and that I think the rule there is we didn't put more than 5 panels on a page. You know, you gotta scale it down. Something in the back was first.
You said you were trained as an artist. How did that affect how you write your scripts? I mean, do you provide more detail for the artist because you have a visual image, or do you less and let them do what they choose?
This is where I'm a super nice guy, because no, that's not an insignificant thing. Because I have drawn other people's scripts, and when they misbehave, the writer, and like make things like really crazy hard, it's really bad. Like it's not fun at all. I don't enjoy it. So I vowed I would never do that again to a writer. I would never do that myself to an artist. So I always give them the minimum amount of information. Like you give them a lot of flexibility in terms of like sizes of panels. Unless, I always tell them when I'm writing something that I feel absolutely has to be in there, so that they understand that if I don't say that, there's wiggle room. Like if they have to like change the angle of something because I did something dumb, like someone smiling with his back to you. You know, sometimes you make a mistake and write something like that. They have to be able to like correct that. And I always sort of like, there are times when I've sketched out pages as I write them to make sure it's actually possible to do what I'm asking them to do. And just kind of basically treat them like a human being and not like an art-making machine. And I don't really know if anybody treats their artist as an art-making machine, and I'm sure some do. But I just try to make sure that they have that it's fun for them, you know. That I don't write anything that's like insane to draw. It's going to take them 3 days or to draw a single page. But I do think it helps, and not to put myself into this camp, but there are a lot of like other writers like Grant Morrison that are artists as well, and I really think that that makes a difference, in the writing. Yeah, and I think really smart writers write to the strength of their artists. This is something Warren Ellis told me about early on. He says, if you can, you should always know who your artist is on a script, in advance, and like you look at what they do and look at what they do well, and you can sort of like customize your writing to those strengths, or like avoid their like weaknesses.